And speaking of encountering God and telling our good works, we're going to have Natalie come forward, and she's going to speak about her encounters with God through service and the good work that she does, continuing our encounter series.
Hello, everyone. I'm Natalie Shilati. Let me get my mask off, actually. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Natalie Shilati, and I feel very honored to be here today to share my experience of serving with you all. My journey to serving at St. Clement started 1 week before my junior year of high school. My family was moving from Kansas City to Chicago, and I was thrilled. Not because I didn't like Kansas City, but because I loved the adventure of meeting new people and experiencing new places. However, reality hit, and most of my romantic ideas seemed to disappear upon arriving to my first day at my new high school. I remember during lunch period, I walked up to a girl in the cafeteria who I had met at orientation and asked if I could eat lunch with her. She said, of course, and we went to meet up with a group of her friends. When I got there, naturally, they commenced in their back-to-school embraces, unintentionally leaving me to the side. I felt so awkward and out of place that I immediately turned around without even saying goodbye and went to the library, where I could feel normal being alone. Finding my way at my new high school wasn't easy, but I was still weirdly happy. The sparks of joy I would get from something my mom said that morning, or the tranquility of the quiet school chapel, or the anticipation of telling a friend back in Kansas City something funny that had happened, gave me the hope I needed to make the best of the situation at hand. I used to be skeptical about God, but eventually, through talking, research, and some form of praying, I started to feel comfortable with the idea that God is love. And therefore, where I see love in my life is where I see God. And while I'm still on my faith journey, I know that for a fact I could not have made it through this period of my life without God. On the weekends, my family would church hop in effort to find where we wanted to become parishioners. I remember sitting in St. Clement, like back there somewhere, for the first time, and unfortunately not being able to see due to malfunctioning contacts, and just kind of knowing that this is where my family had to join. The priest had a relatable and inspiring homily. The church was beautiful from what my blurry vision could decipher, and the announcements at the end of Mass sounded interesting. Somewhere in the timeline of becoming parishioners, my mom had brought me and one of my siblings to volunteer at St. Clement's Morning Hospitality. This is where community members experiencing homelessness or food insecurity are invited to St. Clement's front lawn for a small breakfast and to-go lunches. This service gave me the opportunity to feel connected to a community during a time when I wasn't sure where I belonged. Deacon Tim, one of the leaders of this service, who has recently passed away, also made me and anyone else who showed up, volunteers and guests included, feel immediately welcomed. I continued to periodically come back to morning hospitality, even as I migrated 30 minutes north to attend college at Northwestern. Now, as a recent graduate, most Fridays, you can still find me at St. Clement's front lawn, serving coffee and talking to our guests. While there's so much work to be done to bring justice to our community members who are often ignored, this ministry allows us this space to provide them hospitality and begin to understand where we can create change. When I was thinking about why it's so important for us not only to serve our guests food, but also offer them companionship, the Cheers theme song that says, Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name immediately popped into my head. And I don't sing these lyrics to show off my subpar vocal cords, but rather to highlight its message. When we experience hardship, it's natural to want to be around people who know us by name. Even Jesus wanted to be surrounded by his apostles when God told him he was going to be crucified. It's important that we extend a hand to everyone in our lives, not only physically or monetarily, but emotionally. When I recognize God's unconditional love for me, I'm inspired to offer that same grace to those around me. I'm so thankful for the morning hospitality guests, volunteers, family members, and friends who know me by name and give me the opportunity to see God so clearly in my life. And for the record, while it was challenging, I am beyond grateful for my family's move to Chicago. If you're looking to amplify God's presence in your own life, I can't recommend serving enough. Whenever I'm serving, I always just know that there's so much joy and hope surrounded in that moment. Changing the world doesn't happen overnight. It starts in our own backyard, so please start today and start with the person next to you, as Mother Teresa would say. I invite you all to come to morning hospitality, which takes place in front of St. Clement every Friday at 8:30 a.m., rain or shine. You can come for as long or as little as your schedule permits. And if you're not good at remembering names, no need to worry, because one of our star volunteers, B, who has been serving at morning hospitality for years, knows everyone's names by heart, so you can always ask her. Thank you all for listening, and I hope to see you this Friday.
Thank you, Natalie, for sharing.